I will call to order. Wait, are we recording already?
Yeah.
Okay. I will call to order the rate review committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. The meeting of the Ayer Rate Review Committee will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in the specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may access the proceedings by joining Zoom, meeting ID number 828-8571-8742, or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager at atm@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 100 prior to the meeting. Okay, with that, I will call us to order. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, all right. Would somebody, okay, do we have, never mind. Has everyone had a chance to review the meeting minutes from October 1st?
Yes.
Anything? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Okay, any second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
And chair says aye, the meeting minutes from October 1st are approved. Okay, so now we're on to the big stuff. We're gonna review, discuss, and recommend and vote for the 2025 calendar year transfer station rate recommendations. Yeah. I was trying to read something earlier and there was 3 P's and it took me 3 tries and it was like she sells this one. Great, so. Okay, so where we last left off, we were trying to figure out as far as do we want to raise rates, keep the rates, what are we doing? Where are we going, Dan?
Yeah, okay, so through you, Madam Chair, I did prepare a memo and sent that to Robert and Barbara, and I went over it with Barbara. I know she couldn't be here this evening. But in there, you'll see on the first page, I ran additional scenarios, rate scenarios in the model. And the ones I ran are the 3 bottom ones in the table, which increase the senior permit 5 and the second permit 5, and it shows what that would generate. And then increasing the senior permit 5 and the second permit 10, or increasing the regular 5, senior 10, and second 10, and showing kind of what those generate. So those are the additions based on our last meeting of what we potentially wanted to look at for scenarios. And then on the second page of my memo, I just put in there a little discussion of my own for I guess it was directed to Robert and Barbara, but for the committee. Indicating about the bulk items where we're getting approximately $10,000 annually in revenue from those. It's hard to quantify the exact amount, but that's where I'm landing in that vicinity. And then our recent rate increases. Regular sticker was in 2023 was increased $100 to $105. The senior sticker 2020 went up $5 from 55 to 60. The second sticker 2019 from 20 to 30. And then obviously the bag prices in 2022 is the last change to those. So I went over this with Barbara, and in my opinion, we get that. So you account for that $10,000 from the bulk items, then you need about $3,016 out of the rates, out of the permit stickers and the pays per bag revenue. So the committee could consider looking at that scenario where we increase the senior permit 5 and second permit 5. And the reason I like that, it's been a while since that's been done. And, if we don't increase rates now, are we going to end up in a scenario in the future where we have to do significant increases. I know that's happened with like water 1 year, years ago, where we didn't increase the rates. I wasn't part of it then. You know, do you get hit by something like that? But, so, you know, I think it should be possibly considered to do that. It is $3,000. That's, you know, not a lot of money. So, you know, I'm definitely open to what the committee would like to do. And then in my last paragraph, it's kind of not really focused so much on the rates for the vote tonight, but more on, in the future, looking at the subsidy a little closer. Barbara and I doing that. As we prepare, as the FY26 budget's prepared. And comparing to other towns, seeing where we're at and what we might want to consider. And also noting that the transfer station, so the operating hours, so the associated labor costs with that. The collective bargaining agreement, as we mentioned in the previous meeting, is expiring at the end of this fiscal year. So a new one would be in effect in FY26, and that's going to be part of the bargaining agreement there. And as we're looking at potentially changing hours to the station and reducing costs. So that would impact FY26. But that was a summary of what I put together and my initial thoughts. But I'm pretty open right now.
So if we do nothing based on this, what you've just said, then we're only looking at having a $3,000 shortfall.
Yes.
Seriously?
So, right, it's not
Yeah,
much.
right. And are we keeping an eye currently on the overtime, as far as, you know, overtime is only when needed?
Right.
So that's also
So those
driven
are
down
pretty
the
much fixed.
cost. Right?
Yeah, so those line items pretty much fixed in the budget. The only thing that, you know, could be a change, like the waste hauling should be similar. The recycling, you know, the commodities market has been pretty even the last several years, and that's what we budgeted for. So assuming that stays the same, we wouldn't get any surprise hits unless there was another surprise. But I think, you know, we should finish within budget, and we typically do. You know, with a little bit of surplus. So $3,000, that's probably something that could be absorbed in this year's budget, assuming there's no surprises.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to be fair, how often do we have surprises when it regarding the transfer station?
Not since, I haven't had any really since I've been.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that, you know, the odds are in our favor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh?
We're due.
Yeah,
No,
Through the chair, I'm sorry.
What is wrong with you?
because the year we didn't raise the water rates is when PFAS was.
We're now
Right,
jinxed.
that's what happened.
We're now jinxed. And I'm gonna point to this meeting
I wish
at
I
this
had that
moment.
power.
There.
Yeah,
Madam Chair, and I appreciate the DPW director putting together all of the scenarios, so thank you, Dan, and all of this work. My 2 cents is where we're at $3,016. If there's been a year, I think where we could keep things the same. This would be it. I believe that between the director and I on the operational end, there'll be the savings, as you alluded to, whether it's the overtime and other part. Also, the subsidy, I mean, at $3,016 could absorb that, I think, without, you know, negligible impact, that we would even see that. And then, and it's brought up by others, you know, the town's historic trend on free cash each year, which all things being equal, that trend looks to be consistent, you know, for this year moving forward. I mean, if there's been a year, and I just want to stress this because we do it on a year by year basis, if there was a year, I think that you could keep everything stable, this would be it. I mean, we've already, I think, are in agreement that raising the bags is in nobody's interest at this point, and that was just done, and there's heartache on that. And we did the regular permit in 2023. Senior.
it was just last year.
Yeah, the senior in 2020 and the second sticker. So that's my 2 cents. I think we could, if there was a year, this would be it, to just keep everything stable.
I mean, I would like to see, especially, the regular sticker not be increased, because we did just increase it last year. And as I've said before, if we're increasing everything every year, something's wrong. It means we've looked at something wrong, That being said, if we decide to make the recommendation to not raise any rates, I do think it's important that we at least, let people know that, hey, especially regarding like the senior sticker and second sticker, I also bit my tongue today, so it's hard to talk. That next year, there could be an increase, just to kind of give a heads up to people. I mean, if we're looking at just $3,000, we
Yeah.
can't absorb $3,000.
I think it does, also goes to that argument Kurt was making, and I know we got an email on it about, if the hour change reduces the labor costs in FY 26, if we raise rates now, then maybe we don't have to next year. If we can just get by this year, and next year, we were in the budget's a little bit lower.
Well, I make the argument that we could even keep the hours way they currently are, and just everybody working 8-hour days.
That too, yeah.
There's your problem.
Move things around.
There's your problem. That overtime was never supposed to be, yeah, I get it every week. Therein lies the problem. If we just do that, that's a big savings too. And then, we have a win-win on the hours with everybody too. So that's something to keep our eyes on and everything. How does anybody else guess?
Just one question through the chair. The various hauling contracts and so forth, how long are they good for? I know we just did
We're in the second year of 3 years.
3 years. Okay, so there's
So it would be good for the rest of this fiscal year and next fiscal year.
Okay.
So next year, when we go to look at this stuff, we'll be looking at that negotiations and how it'll impact. So that is real data as far as, if we have to make any increases, to say, this is why we're making the increases, because this hauling contract changed and it impacted it in this way. I mean, I think that if you're gonna have a rate increase, those are something that, person can at least wrap their head around. Not just, there was overtime, you know what I'm saying? Because that's substantial, because then you're looking at a contract that, somebody had to negotiate with somebody outside. And there's your real impact. So that would be real data for us next year versus what we currently have at this particular minute, Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had, I believe we've had significant increase in the number of households over the last few years, so I would think the volume's gone as far as what we're
No, they don't want the transfer station,
being,
meaning new people that move into town and whatnot.
they're not using it.
No, they really don't. It's kind of a cultural thing.
Okay.
And it would appear that the closer you live to the transfer station, the more benefit there is to getting to it. If you're living out towards Devon's Crest, nobody wants to drive that far. Especially if they have a car and they've got the trash in the car. If they got a truck, then it doesn't bother them so much.
Okay.
So. People don't necessarily see, they're paying for the convenience. Ironically, then they complain about how much it costs. It's like, you could save a little money if you use the transfer station, so,
Right.
yeah,
Well, I just wanted to,
yeah. So, but yeah, it would be nice to see kind of a cultural shift,
yeah, well,
you
I think that would be a justification for the prices going up. If your volume's going up, your costs go up, right? I mean, that's-
Right. Yeah,
Mhm.
That's the bottom line.
yeah.
Anyways, okay, thanks.
Were you waving your hand earlier? Okay. Yes. Kurt, I think-
Two comments, Robert, you were with Dan, so. What's our retained earnings approximately for the transfer station?
Meeting with Barbara the other day, she mentioned around 128,000.
Okay, so we have on, okay.
So let's use that as our rating.
Yeah, again, that's,
Yeah.
again, as Barbara always has up
Yeah.
audited, which is 2023.
Yeah,
So, and the 36 are retained earnings that we're gonna use is gonna come from that.
Yep.
Okay,
it would, yep.
right, and, so the extra 3,000 is gonna come either from the subsidy, or from retained earnings. So we've got two possible places. Again, with your idea of no increase, we've got to fund 3,000. It can actually come from the subsidy and or from retained earnings.
It would just be a not spending as much in within our budget of FY 25 at this time.
Oh,
That's what it would, because we're already using all the subsidy, all the retained earnings
Gotcha.
as we look at what to do for the rates for the bags and stickers.
oh, cool.
So basically, and we're in FY 25, we're gonna sell all the stickers in FY 25, they go to revenue for that. And then
Gotcha,
how
gotcha.
does it go with our budget and expenses? you know?
Okay, because I'm leaning towards a no increase. What I'm thinking is this would be a great opportunity for us to make a communication to the town. And I made just a quick note, again, somebody already said this, is to let, you know, hey, no raise this year. Favorable, we had a consultant did a report, and it was a very good report. So we're doing a good job. Throw a shout out to the staff in there, you know, Anthony, Frank, and whoever else is,
I mean,
you know, just,
yeah,
again, we have a couple of bullet points in this communication, just to sort of pump up. And then two things I would put in there is, remember bulk stickers, because we're gonna make sure people are getting the bulk sticker and not sneaking in a microwave here or there and stuff. I mean, we should make.
I think they actually notice. I think it's.
Oh,
more the
oh, yeah,
bag.
they do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more the bags, because.
The reason I mentioned that is that-
Standing up there, so.
I did take a microwave there the other last
Oh,
weekend.
testing the
And-
system, huh?
And I asked, and I have to still go buy the bulk sticker,
yeah.
so. But again,
It's always
you
one.
guys combined,
Well, there's two. I have to fess up, so I didn't even know you needed a bulk sticker for a lot of the things, so I
Oh.
confessed to Dan.
in case I
I
just,
just absolved that.
Okay, so we'll
I
be
think-
writing you to a bill. All right, thank you very much.
Hey,
So
that's, it's not 2016, but we're getting there.
I think we might have accounted for 16.
2,000,
There we go.
2,909.
We're gonna whittle this down. We're gonna whittle this down. Yeah, I gotta go get my bulk stickers. I get that TV out of the house, so I haven't gone yet to go get it, so.
I think that's, again, I'm just echoing someone mentioned earlier. We
Right.
should definitely shout this out to the town, this no increase and. just-
Well, yeah, so that would be our so it looks like that's what we're talking about, our
Recommendation.
recommendation, and of course, the public hearing before the. Would be before the select board, seriously, I really. Today, it really hurt me. And then, you know, we can put out like a one pager going, hey, we didn't raise any rates. This is what we feel your average. You know, monthly, how much you're spending on the transfer station. See you next year. You know, and because next year, I mean, you know, with the contracts and things like that'll, even the union contract, you know, will have some type of an impact.
Mhm.
So, you know, we'll have more meat and, you know, so next year could be an increase, you know. But, you know, we mentioned the subsidy and we don't tend to go over 1%. In fact, we're usually just under 1% of the town budget, not including the school, okay, because we don't count them. Okay, I don't think we need to go any higher than that, but I do think that maybe for the not the subsidy. The
Retained earnings.
thank you very much, thank you very much. That we should maybe look at dipping into that just a little bit more. Especially for next year, depending on how these other contracts, how they lay out, could impact. So as we're building the FY 26 budget, we did what, 36,000 for this year?
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
just throwing out a number for an example. What if we did 46? And how could that help impact it, you know?
Dumb question. Is there any guideline as to what retained earnings should be relative to the budget? Or, no, overall.
Not really for, for our water and our sewer enterprise, there's pretty good industry practices, but for the transfer station as an enterprise fund, no.
Right,
So it's kind of,
there's
yeah,
no statutory benchmark or guidance, yeah.
no. So I mean, yeah, right. I mean, it's always good to have it for a rainy day or to lessen the impact of the rates and things like that.
Yeah.
But we don't really have a guideline, yeah.
No, but I think
Yeah.
that those are things that, we should look at as far as people, we go to the Springtown meeting. When we're looking at, as far as the retained earnings, is to,
Yeah,
maybe bumping that up a little bit, because we don't tend to. But maybe this time we should, because we could, just playing devil's advocate here, we could be looking at, significant changes next year. With these new contracts. So that could help soften the blow,
mhm,
So,
yeah.
May I? Through the chair? I'm kind of serious.
as long as it's a negative.
I'm kind of thinking out loud. So if I'm understanding correctly, retained earnings is already spent. Subsidy is already spent. In order to save this $3,016, we need to cut spending in this fiscal year. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have an avenue for even cutting that amount other than, stopping the overtime? Or I just don't necessarily see, I feel like it's a pretty tight budget to begin with. I hate being devil's advocate, but I would like to see it being solvent for the year. And having the senior and the second permit increase by $5 just to really make up that cost. And we didn't increase any of the rates last year because of the study that we did. So we're coming back.
Well, we raised the regular permit last year.
No, that was fiscal year 2023. We didn't raise anything last year.
Okay, we got, when we're writing this stuff in a memo, could we say
That's my-
FY
that's my
or
understanding.
calendar year?
no, you're right,
That's my
yeah, I
understanding.
mean,
I could be
from the
wrong.
handout 2 meetings ago, yeah, it's been,
I apologize.
Okay,
yeah, 2 years ago, we did,
Okay,
last year
so-
we did nothing, yeah.
I think that, I don't know where this $3,000 would come from otherwise.
It'd
is my
basically be
question.
me deferring things till FY 26.
Oh, just like
Yeah, on my
choosing not to
budget,
spend stuff
yeah,
until
so-
the next year.
Or out of the transfer station enterprise budget, so, right, if there was a service that we didn't need, but we wanted to, that could wait, stuff like that, and, I mean, like last year, I did some work on this. Looking at it, but, we have come in under budget, I have a little bit of a cushion. So is it something we could absorb? Most likely,
Okay,
if we run into an issue. I guess we have to go to retainer if something were to happen, we
Okay.
have to go back to town meeting in the spring, right, Robert, for a reserve fund transfer. If that were to happen,
If it
then
was
use more
needed, yeah.
retained earnings. That help.
okay, thank you for that.
I may have missed the meeting, but how much overtime are we paying? Roughly.
Um,
an extra 4 hours a week,
Yeah,
yeah,
but I think it estimates to be about $8,000
yeah,
because of the way the contract was written. So you have paragraph 2.
Yep.
And then you have paragraph 3. Paragraph 2 says you have the right of first refusal, okay? Paragraph 3 says overtime is as needed. Paragraph 2 was worded just ever so slightly different. So that it kind of came across of like, I can have the overtime. Which I'm on record of like, when I read it, because I signed it, I approved it. When I read it, I didn't read it that way because I read paragraph 3 And where I used to work, that's the way it lined up, but not everybody, sees it that way. So it caused an inadvertent problem. So we're fixing that. Sorry.
Janice, one other sort of piggybacking off on your really good comments. And the other thing would be either cutting cost, or I just made a note, or we realize more revenue too, correct, Robert?
True.
Yeah.
Right.
There's always I got a lot of stuff in my garage, so I'm just gonna use
And that's
myself
why
as an
I-
example
that's
that
why
I
I was sort of
really wanna get rid of.
Mentioning the bulk, it's sort of half joking, but mentioning
Yeah.
bulk
So
permits. to make sure we're
there is
getting
the possibility.
Any more,
Yeah.
every piece
Right.
of revenue we can.
Right.
So right at it, and it too, like the recycling commodities, do they get good, worse, they get better, they stable, like that could fluctuate. But, the last couple of years, we were about 30 grand under budget each year. And I think that was a result of the recycling commodities being much lesser than anticipated in those years. But let's see, like 22 actual. So, most years we do have a surplus at the end of the year. We're talking 3,000, so hopefully.
So there is a possibility that we will add to retained earnings in a year and a half. Also.
I mean,
Yeah,
a possibility that, if we do have to do a reserve fund transfer, it's $1,500. That it might not be the 3,000. Of course, tomorrow something could happen. Thank you.
So, yeah.
We gotta do a bigger amount.
My
No, not that.
I mean, you're right, as far as, we always gotta think of those scenarios and everything like that.
And that's why, through the chair, I had mentioned earlier, and as have others, the average, and this is not a given every year, but the trend has been between 1 million to 2 million on the high side, of free cash each year. So for example, if the shortfall were to occur of, say, 1,500, or the maximum of what we're looking at is about $3,000, it could be transferred by an act of town meeting. We've done before. I mean, it could be transferred from there. So just so people understand that we wouldn't be scrambling for $3,000 at the last minute.
We're very lucky.
Yeah,
We always have a very nice, free cash cushion.
yeah.
So,
And that's, I mean, it would ultimately be up to, when I say the select board on the warrant and town meeting to decide, I mean, the sources, whether it's a free cash, stabilization, we have a healthy reserve. So my takeaway is that if, and that's assuming we even have the shortfall this year, it would be negligible and could be corrected.
It's all on you, Dan.
Yeah,
You're no pressure.
and Robert. Can help. No, just kidding.
be watching that budget with a fine tooth comb. Oh, God, it's gonna be 2017. So how's everybody feel? What do you want to make as your recommendation to the board?
Is this official?
No, we wanted to do a motion.
Well,
We're not ready for a motion.
Okay.
We are. I motion that we leave the rates the same as they are right now.
Okay,
I second that.
all right. Any further discussion? All those in favor of leaving all the rates the same?
Aye.
Chair says aye. All right. Rates will remain the same. That's okay, so now the scheduling of the public hearing. The next not tonight, the next meeting for the board will be Monday, November 4th at 6 p.m. We cannot do that Tuesday due to the election. So we chose that Monday at 6 p.m. Why are you scowling?
No, I'm trying to think if the election is 4th or the 5th.
The 5th, yeah. So That's when the public hearing will be. And the presentation will be made to the board and they'll yay or nay it. They'll probably yay it. They've never nayed it. But I have to say that just in case somebody's in a mood. Okay. All right, so when shall we schedule our next meeting for? Because that's when we're gonna start talking about water and sewer. And depending on fall town meeting,
Oh, yeah. Water.
thank you.
So through the chair, in terms of scheduling the next meeting. Where are you folks at in terms of water and sewer rates?
We
I'm
were,
not putting you on the spot, but I'm saying we
But we're
obviously,
putting,
yeah, we want to schedule the meeting to have a meaningful initial discussion.
Mhm.
Sure.
I haven't looked at I'm still in the process of doing budgets, so I haven't really looked at the water and sewer rates at this point. But what is a reasonable amount of time?
Yeah, and we usually connect with Barbara, right?
Yeah, I have to connect with Barbara. When, forgive me for not having this memorized, but when do we start operating budget?
So the directive will go out December 1st with everything due back by December 29th, I think, this year.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you want to meet in December? Have the next meeting in December?
Yeah.
We usually kind of start doing it in
That's
December.
Yeah.
We usually have an initial,
I've gone back to work.
How about Tuesday, December 3rd? 4 o'clock?
I unfortunately am not available that day. I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you guys want to stick with Tuesdays? Did you want to pick another day?
Tuesdays at
Tuesday,
4 or
Tuesday.
5.
All right, how about Tuesday,
Tuesday,
December 10th? Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Tuesday,
Mhm.
December 10th.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna inform you guys, I will not be at fall town meeting. I messed up my schedule,
Okay. Yep.
won't be there. Sorry, but at least I'm honest.
No.
May I bring up an additional, something that I noticed this past week, just on the website, that, the rates for the water and sewer still linked to FY 24.
Okay, let's see.
I came up in a conversation with somebody and they said, well, what are the rates? And I said, well, I'll show you. You can go here and download them, and they were still FY 24.
All right.
Okay, so okay. I'll
Yeah.
fix that.
It's, I can send you.
But we didn't raise the rates last year. So wouldn't FY 24 rates still be good?
He's talking about water and sewer though.
Water
Oh.
and sewer,
Yeah.
water, yeah.
Could
Sorry,
you-
Sorry, I missed, I'm.
Switching gears.
Okay,
Could you send me the link when you get a chance and we'll get that fixed?
Yep.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
And
okay.
I'm wondering if the rates are correct, but the heading is incorrect and saying 20, fiscal year 24.
Could be, the document is titled FY 24 and the header says 24, but it's possible, actually, no, it says effective July 1st, 2023.
Okay.
Changes voted 3/27/23.
Hmm.
Okay. Sorry, let me, I'll figure that
all
out.
right, yeah, we'll clean that up.
Because we're in FY 25.
Yes.
Plus, I still want to go with the federal fiscal year, so it messes me up.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. Okay. Then they are wrong,
Yeah, we'll fix that.
because they should be dated, the document should be dated 24,
Mhm.
because we would have approved water and sewer in like March of 24. So yeah, it is, it would still be wrong. Okay.
Yeah, let's look at that. You wanna-
Will do.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send it to everybody.
All right, anything else? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.